Welcome to Building a TikTok Live Game with Unity AI. In this course, we're going to learn how we can take a Unity project and connect it to TikTok live streamers. So in our project, the player is going to be able to enter in a username of anyone that's going live on TikTok. It could be themselves or could be any other user. Then we're going to learn how to connect TikTok live stream actions to in-game actions. For example, if someone joins the live stream, like a viewer joins, then we can spawn that viewer in the game. If someone likes the live stream or someone comments, then we can display those comments in the game. Or we can implement entire systems, such as we're going to implement a comment voting system where the game player can set up a new vote, like what should I name my cat, muffins or butters? And the TikTok live stream commenters can comment muffins, muffins, muffins. And the game is going to calculate the winner of the vote based on the comments of the TikTok live stream. So throughout the project, we're going to be generating all features using the Unity AI assistant. So there's actually no coding in this course and very minimal manual work because the AI is going to generate the code, the game objects, the assets like the sprites for us. And this is the modern way of game development. For this project to follow along, you will need to download the Unity Hub from unity.com and install a version of Unity into the Unity Hub. We're using version 6.5 in this course. And it is free to get the Hub and Unity for personal use. To use the Unity AI Assistant, you will need to subscribe to the Unity AI, and you can get a free trial or a paid subscription to access Unity AI features. If you want to understand the code that's being generated, then it is recommended to have C# coding experience, but you don't need any coding experience because we're not going to be writing any code ourselves. We're going to be generating all the code with Unity AI. But for debugging the code, it would help to have coding experience, but it's not required. It is also helpful to have experience using Unity before, because we're not going to be explaining the basics of Unity in this course. And we do have other courses included for you that do explain the basics of Unity if you've never used it before. As well, you will need to access TikTok.com or the TikTok app to find a live streamer that is currently going live. You can go live yourself on TikTok if you have 1,000 followers, but you can also just connect to any other live streamer through your game. It doesn't have to be your live stream. You can find people that are going live by going to tiktok.com/live/explore/ a keyword like nature to find live streamers that are going live with a nature live stream, for example. TikTok does not have an official event viewer, so keep in mind that we will be using an unofficial package called TikTok Live Sharp in this course. And because it's not endorsed by TikTok, it's an open source, unofficial package. So make sure that you follow all of TikTok's guidelines about not spamming or creating bots, which are not allowed as per the TikTok guidelines. Please note that this is not a user interface course, so it's not focused on game design or user interface as the main focus. The main focus is on that integration with TikTok, specifically TikTok Live. So we have a separate course on developing a game to publish on TikTok mini games. And this course is separate. It's about building your own game, which could be published anywhere, that is connecting to a TikTok live stream. So it is separate from the official TikTok mini games that you build. In this case, you're building an unofficial game that you can host anywhere that is going to connect to a TikTok live stream. We will be showing some connections to random TikTok lives in this course. We do not endorse any of the TikTokers that are shown. They are just some random live streamers that we will be connecting to. TikTok Live allows creators to go live and to stream things like a game that they're playing, or they might be streaming just a chatting through their camera, or they might just be streaming their screen, etc. There are many different types of TikTok live streams that are happening at every second of the day. So they're very popular, and we can leverage that popularity by building a game that connects to TikTok live streamers. Remember to follow all TikTok regulations when you are connecting to TikTok or capturing TikTok events. As well, remember to watch your token usage whenever you're using an AI. When you're chatting with an AI or generating content with an AI, it will eat up your tokens or credit usage. So keep an eye on your credits when you are developing. Let's begin our project by connecting to TikTok in Unity. Let's begin our project of connecting to TikTok Live Sharp with Unity AI. We're going to begin in the Unity Hub. So you can download the Unity Hub from unity.com, and then we'll need to download a version of Unity through the Hub. So you can install a Unity version like 6.5, then go to Projects and create a new project. We can use 3D as the template. Then choose a Unity organization that has access to Unity AI. For example, this could be your Unity account onto which you're going to get the free trial of Unity AI. Then choose a project name and make sure that the project is connected to a cloud project on the account where you're going to have access to Unity AI. Then press Create Project, and this will launch the Unity editor. So allow several minutes for the project to be created. Then go to the header and install Unity AI. If you don't see the AI tool, then right-click in the header of Unity and go to Services, AI. Once the AI is installed, you can then open the assistant, and you can use Ask, Plan, or Agent mode to help you talk about your project, plan the project, or execute project tasks. For example, we can start with a prompt for our agent that we have a Unity scene. We have one scene which was created by default with the 3D template. Next, we'll prompt that I am adding the TikTok Live Sharp library, which raises events on a background thread. Create a C# mono behavior, which is a script named TikTok Manager that instantiates a TikTok Live client with a serialized field username string and starts it in an asynchronous method, holds a concurrent queue action, and dequeues and invokes all queued actions and updates so the UI and logging calls run on Unity's main thread. Now, you can use a more simple or more complex prompt than this. In general, we want to write a script that connects to the TikTok Live Sharp library. Note that in order to use the library, we'll have to actually install the package. So you can either send the prompt first or install the package first. So if you do send this prompt first, then the agent will start building out the scripting logic for the project. At some points, you might have to give permission for the assistant to create a file, for example, whenever you have a new chat. Now, if you run the project currently, you'll see an error message that says TikTok Live Sharp could not be found. As best practice, make sure that you wait for the assistant to finish responding before you play test the game. But in this case, we need to install the package into our project for the script to work. So we're connecting to an external package called TikTok Live Sharp, which allows us to have easy connections to TikTok directly in Unity with the C# programming language. So we're going to have to install that library, which is going to help us connect to TikTok. Go to the Window tab and find Package Management. There you can open the Package Manager. Then in the top left-hand corner of the Package Manager window, we are going to press on the plus button to install a new package, and specifically from a Git URL, which means that the package is hosted online via GitHub. And here, we're then going to paste in the URL for TikTok Live Sharp. This is a very specific URL. You can find it online by searching for it on GitHub or online. And note that it's not an official TikTok library or an official Unity library, so it can always be a bit buggy. It's just an open source library available by a fellow Unity developer. So we can enter in that URL to make that connection. Now keep in mind, because this is an unofficial library, it could change at any point. So if you do have issues with this library, you can find a similar TikTok Live Sharp library, but this is the one that we recommend. Remember that because TikTok doesn't have any official library itself, that means you have to make sure that you abide by all TikTok guidelines for the rate at which you make calls to TikTok, so you don't perform any kind of spamming to TikTok, etc. So we're going to install the package just by that URL. Once the package is installed, then we can close the package manager. So allow it to install and then close the window. Then you can play test your game again. Note that the script could have some issues if you generated the script first and then installed the package. So it is recommended typically to install the package first and then generate the script. But if you do have any error messages in the console, you can right-click on them or right-click multiple of them by holding the Shift key and then right-click. And you can send one or more error messages to the Unity AI Assistant by doing that right-click and then clicking Add to Assistant. This is going to send those error messages to the assistant, and you can say fix. And so this is just going to ensure that the script that the assistant generated will match up with the requirements by the TikTok Live Sharp library, which we installed. Remember that with AI, there's always inherently going to be some randomness with what is generated. So the script that you get won't be exactly the same as what I get. And the prompt response that you see, the response to your prompt, will not be exactly what I'm getting because AI is inherently random each time. So if at any point throughout the course you see something that is unexpected, that's not working as is working in the course, then you can debug with the assistant by sending it the error messages, sending it the step-by-step process of what caused the error, attaching screenshots, attaching specific objects from the game by right-clicking and sending it to the assistant. And remember, we have the source files for you as well included that you can download and take a look at. So in this case, the assistant is going to fix the compiler errors. If you have trouble running the assistant itself, then you might see that you experience crashes with it at times. Then just restart the assistant or restart Unity to reset the assistant. Also make sure that you're using a version of the assistant that's compatible with your version of Unity. For example, if the version of Unity is in alpha stage, then it might not support the assistant as well. So here we get our response with the changes made to our script to be compatible with the package of TikTok Live Sharp. At some points, you may have to give the input to perform tasks like saving a file, which you can allow for the entire conversation. Once the assistant completes a task, make sure you check that it actually completed the task that it said that it did. Because oftentimes, maybe it made a script, but if you play test the game by going back to the Unity editor and pressing play, then you might notice some error messages or some issues. So after every response that you get from the AI, make sure you test the game at that stage, and then tell the AI if anything went wrong. Because the AI might confidently state that it completed the task in one prompt, but you may have to play test and send error messages to fix any issues or make updates to that feature. The more often you test, the easier it will be to debug, because you know exactly what prompt or what feature caused the latest bug or issue. So we can play test the game now. We see that we get another error message, like host type is not matching any asset path. So again, I'm going to right click and send those to the assistant. So it might take a few rounds of prompting and play testing before you get a success. So you see here it took me about 4 prompts to fix the error messages to connect the script to the package. But I was able to successfully play test the game after debugging with the help of the assistant. So that is how we can connect to TikTok Live Sharp with Unity AI. I do recommend first install the package, then send over your prompt to connect to the package. Next up, let's collect the TikTok username input in the game. So the player can enter in any TikTok username, and our game will connect to that user's live stream.